A drone is not valuable because it flies. That part is neat, but it's not the real value. The real value is what it helps Rick see: the job site from above, the work in context, the problem before it grows, the condition before someone has to guess, the progress before the next meeting, the risk before someone says, "We didn't know." And that is where Rick starts to look at the drone differently. Not as a toy, not as a threat, not as some flashy gadget from the office, but as another tool in the superintendent's toolbox. A tool that can save time. A tool that can reduce unnecessary risk. A tool that can improve documentation. A tool that can help the contractor make better decisions with better information. And when the person flying that drone is not just a drone operator but a superintendent with 40 years of field experience, the footage means more. Because Rick is not just capturing images, he knows what the images mean. He knows what to look for. He knows what matters. He knows when something is just messy and when something is about to become expensive. That is the difference. A drone can see the job site, but Rick understands it. This is where the drone stops being a toy. Because anybody can look at a drone and think, "That's neat. It flies, it takes pictures, it makes the job site look impressive from above." But on a construction project, neat is not enough. If Rick is going to use a drone for work, for documentation, for progress updates, for roof observations, for site logistics, or for anything tied to the project, then the conversation changes. Now it is not just about owning a drone. It is about knowing how to fly it legally, safely, and professionally. That is where the drone pilot license matters. In the United States, if someone is flying a drone for business purposes, job site purposes, or anything that is not just recreational, they generally need to understand the FAA rules under Part 107 and obtain a remote pilot certificate. And that matters because construction is not a backyard hobby flight. A job site has people, equipment, cranes, power lines, nearby roads, adjacent properties, restricted areas, changing conditions, and sometimes a whole lot of people walking around who are already busy trying not to get hit by anything else. So if Rick is going to put a drone in the air, he needs more than confidence. He needs knowledge. Where can he fly? How high can he fly? What airspace is he in? What are the weather conditions? Can he maintain visual line of sight? Are there people below? Is there a crane nearby? Are there privacy concerns? Is the flight actually safe today? Or is this one of those moments where the right decision is not to fly? That is what the license changes. It gives Rick a framework. It turns "I bought a drone" into "I know how to operate this responsibly on a project." And for the contractor, that makes a huge difference. Because a superintendent with a drone license is not just someone holding a controller. He is a field leader who understands the work and has added a skill that helps document the work. That is valuable. A random drone pilot may know how to fly. Rick knows what he is looking at. He knows which roof condition matters. He knows which access issue could delay the next phase. He knows when a laydown yard is about to become a logistics nightmare. He knows why that blocked entrance matters. He knows what the owner needs to see. He knows what the project manager needs documented. He knows which photo is just pretty and which photo could save an argument 3 weeks from now. That is the difference between footage and useful documentation. And that is why the license can change Rick's value. It does not erase his 40 years of field experience. It adds to it. Now Rick can walk the job from the ground and see it from above. He can document progress without waiting for someone else. He can give the contractor better visuals. He can help the owner understand what is happening. He can reduce unnecessary trips to risky or hard-to-reach areas. He can support safety discussions with better views. He can help the project team make decisions with evidence instead of guesswork. That is career leverage. Not because Rick becomes a full-time drone pilot. He doesn't have to. The point is not for Rick to stop being a superintendent. The point is for Rick to become the superintendent who can also fly the drone when the project needs it. That is a very different thing. And for older superintendents, safety officers, and field leaders, this may be one of the smartest technology skills to learn. Because it does not ask them to throw away what they already know. It builds on what they already know. A safety officer who understands job site hazards can use a drone to get a first look at a difficult area before deciding what needs a closer inspection. A superintendent who understands sequencing can use aerial footage to see whether the site layout is helping or hurting the schedule. A project leader who understands documentation can use drone images to build a better record of what happened, when it happened, and what changed. The drone is the tool. The license opens the door, but the experience is what makes it powerful. That is why this should not be seen as young tech replacing old experience. It should be seen as experienced field people adding one more layer to what they already bring to the project. Because the future of construction is not going to reward the person who refuses every new tool, and it is not going to reward the person who uses tools without understanding the work. The real advantage belongs to the person who can do both. Understand the job, use the tool, ask better questions, capture better information, and make the project team smarter because of it. That is what the license can do for Rick. It gives him more than permission to fly. It gives him another way to prove his value. This is where Rick's story changes. Not because the drone made him younger, not because technology suddenly replaced 40 years of experience, and definitely not because someone in an office finally discovered an app and decided the field should be grateful. Rick's value changes because he takes what he already knows and adds one more skill to it. That is the part that matters. He is still the superintendent who knows the job. He still understands the schedule. He still knows which trade is behind, which delivery matters, where the site gets tight, and which small issue is about to become next week's emergency. But now, when the contractor needs better documentation, Rick can get it. When the owner asks for progress, Rick can show it. When the roof needs a first look, Rick can fly it. When the laydown yard is a mess, Rick can prove it. When access is blocked, Rick can document it. When a storm rolls through and everyone needs to know what changed, Rick can capture it before the guessing starts. That makes him more than experienced. It makes him useful in a new way. And that is exactly why a drone license can be such a smart move for superintendents, safety officers, project managers, and field leaders. It does not turn them into a different person. It gives them another way to do what good field people already do. See the job, understand the problem, communicate the truth. The contractor benefits too. Instead of always hiring someone from the outside just to get a visual record, the company may already have someone on the project who understands the site, understands the work, and knows what images actually matter. That can save time, it can improve documentation, it can reduce unnecessary risk, it can help teams make decisions faster, and it can make Rick the person people call when they need to know what is really happening. Not because he has a drone, because he has a drone and knows the job. That combination is powerful. A young drone operator may know how to fly. Rick knows why the flight matters. He knows what angle will help the project manager. He knows what the safety officer needs to see. He knows what the owner is asking without making the update confusing. He knows which roof photo is useful and which one is just pretty. And he knows when the drone is not enough, when someone still needs to physically inspect, verify, repair, or make the final call. That is the right balance. Use the tool. Do not worship the tool. A drone can help Rick see more. It cannot replace his judgment. It cannot replace required inspections. It cannot decide what the contractor should do next. It cannot understand the politics of a job site meeting where everyone is smiling and nobody agrees. That still belongs to people. But when Rick adds drone capability to his field experience, he becomes harder to replace. Because he is no longer just reacting to what he can see from the ground. He is helping the project team see the whole site more clearly. That's the kind of value construction needs. Not more gadgets for the sake of gadgets, better visibility, better records, better decisions, and more experienced people who are willing to learn the right tools without giving up what made them valuable in the first place. That's the hopeful part. Technology doesn't have to push people like Rick out. Used wisely, it can keep them in the center of the job. The veteran superintendent does not have to become a tech person. He just has to become the field leader who knows when technology helps. And that is a very different thing. So, if you are a superintendent, safety officer, project manager, or field leader who has been around long enough to know how job sites really work, a drone license may be worth a serious look. Not because you need another hobby, although drones are very cool, not because the industry needs one more buzzword, but because your experience already has value. A drone license may simply give that experience a better view. And on the right project, that can make you the job site MVP. If you want more real-world AI and construction tools explained without the hype, subscribe to Build Smarter. Use better tools, ask better questions. Build smarter.